Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for continued coverage of the 2021 Junior Gold Championships taking place in the capital of the Hoosier State, Indianapolis, Indiana. My name is Aaron Smith with Bowl TV, and we are ready for the final round of qualifying here at the 2021 event. Our competitors in the U12, U15, and U18 division have already competed on 3 oil patterns. They're finishing up their 4th right now, 8:30 p.m. squad, getting underway across 6 centers. We are broadcasting from 4. We are live at Expo, Western, All-Star, and Strike Force. There we go. The last one is Strike Force. So this is kind of it. We've had an awesome tournament experience so far. If you've been following along here on Bowl TV or on the Sport of Bowling USBC Facebook page, at USBC on Twitter, and at US Bowling Congress on Instagram, you know the fun we've been having out here. We've seen a lot of great moments for these young athletes as they've competed across 4 different lane conditions and multiple bowling centers. But right now, it's time to get serious. This is the time when we're going to send a lot of these young players home. We're making our first cut after this round, but we're going to get one step closer to the double elimination match play bracket and eventually determine our champions in just a couple days here in 3 divisions. So we're excited for that. And as we get underway here, we are going to go to the lanes first. We're going to go to Strike Force for the U18 girls. So just a housekeeping note of who's on the lanes right now. We have the U18 boys, the U18 girls, and the U12 boys all competing right now here in the 8:30 squad across the 6 houses. Both U15 divisions and the U12 girls completed their competition earlier today, so they're in the books. We kind of know the scores. We know how that's looking, but U18 and the U12 boys still to be determined what that cut number is going to be and who's going to be advancing to the advances round. Since we're at Strike Force, though, we're going to bring in another member of the Bowl TV crew. Inside Bowling's Mike Flanagan is hanging out there. There he is, Mike. Hello again.
Well, it's about time you brought me in first, Aaron. You're learning on the job. Thank you very much for bringing me in first, my friend. I'm just going to give you a little something here. U12 girls, the cut is going to be from 92 down to 14. U12 boys, the cut is going to be from 195 down to 28. U15 girls from 298 down to 43. U15 boys, 630 down to 90. U18 girls, 558 down to 80. And the U18 boys, 1,166 entries. That's a bunch. Down to 167.
There is the rundown. Making it to that next advancers round. That's where you want to be. Continuing your journey here at Junior Gold. Mike, thanks for running down the numbers. With the U12 boys, Curtis Von Kruger at All-Star Bowl. There he is, Curtis.
Good evening, gentlemen. And so we find ourselves upon the precipice of greatness. Who will rise to the occasion and who will fall? It's going to be some good bowling regardless. U12 boys bowling across the house, as Mr. Flanagan already correctly informed everybody. We are cutting down to 28 players. That cut right now is at sitting about minus 400. I know that seems like a big red number, but it's still attainable for a lot of these players right now, sitting outside that number. One big day, you shoot, 50, 60 over, and you're right there. Excited to see how they play. The gutters have not been hooking over here like a lot of the other centers have. So players have had to adjust. It has not been easy to come by over here, but I expect some bowlers to rise to the occasion and vault themselves into that cut number as we approach the final few games of qualifying today.
Nicely and well said, Curtis Von Kruger, everybody. Our final guest joining us here from Western Bowl, where the U18 boys are competing as well. JT himself, Jason Thomas. Let's bring him in.
Hey,
JT, hello.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
We are well. We are ready to see who's advancing.
We are, but you know what? It is a little bit sad. Hanging out in the center between rounds. I heard a lot of parents, saying kind of their goodbyes for the
Aw.
week, and talking about when they would see each other again. So, it's a little bit sad. Most of the folks are going to be going home after today, but there should be a lot of excitement tonight. We saw a lot of excitement to close out each of the rounds of, kids making runs the last game to make the cut or to move themselves into better position. And so there's a lot of energy in the building, and it's kind of a nice mood here. It's not like the super high tension that you see at a pro event where with the last round of cut. It's more celebratory. People just having a good time with each other, enjoying each other's company, and then there's some decent bowling going on too.
I will say the one thing, and it brings a smile to my face. The one thing that you're already seeing is people starting to talk about Grand Rapids next year. You're already starting to hear about, we've already been qualified for 2022. Can't wait to go to Grand Rapids. So people are already setting their calendars for the next year's event, already looking forward to that, taking what they learned from this event and hopefully transposing it into the next event. It's a lot of those kind of conversations. Few tears, but they're tears of happiness as well.
All right, with that, the crew. Let's take it to the lanes. It's strike fours going full screen. Once again, the final 4-game block before it's all said and done. We're qualifying here for the 2021 Junior Gold Championships.
Well, you say goodbye, and I say hello. Hello. I will tell you right now, about 1997-ish, a young youth bowler by the name of Mike Flanagan would go around and bowl youth events in the summertime. And I particularly remember leaving Teen Masters at the time, right after the show, and hugging it out with the friends throughout the country that you meet. Now, I remember Rory Kalanquin, of all names, walking up to me and saying, "This is the last tournament of the summer. I don't know what to do." It's like the saddest thing in the world. And he finished second in the event. He was sad. He bowled great, but he was just sad that our run of tournaments was over. It's kind of like when you go away to summer camp or you go away to the family vacation rental. Kind of like in Dirty Dancing. And you've got the final dance. Kind of what it's like when you make cuts and you say goodbye. And I will say also, in regards to this topic, when it comes to be Saturday evening, even though there will be a sense of relief that this event is over with the amount of hours and the work, and we talk about that, there will be a sense of getting on a plane and saying, what am I going to do with my day? And you kind of miss it. And yes, I'm admitting that on the air right now, but you do kind of miss it when you get so wrapped up in an event and it comes to an end. But it's not over. So we're here on our last squad and round of qualifying.
Did you write that during the break, Mike?
No, that one there actually was from the hip. It wasn't what I was able to do the other night. That's why it wasn't as polished.
I thought it was very polished.
Well, it's true. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe I'm just too emotional. And JT, you've told us, you admitted to us the other evening how emotional you are, but you can't show it because you gotta stick through what you're doing. You got to keep the task at hand, not let your emotions get the most of you. But this stuff we do out here, you do get attached to people. You get attached to the moments and what's going on out here. I'm telling you right now, if everybody in this booth and everybody working this event, from the volunteers to the staff to even the people that have full-time positions that help put this event on year-round, you're not doing this job for the money. You're doing this job because you love it. We can sit there and admit that we don't, or complain, and that's, but we love it. And everybody watching this tonight, everybody watching on Bowl TV, you love bowling, or you love someone that is bowling. So I'm going to extend the first ingredient for us all to make some s'mores here tonight. And I think my fellas right here have the other ingredients. I'm going to start everybody out with a graham cracker. So I'm distributing graham crackers in the chat right now to all of you on Bowl TV. And I'm also distributing to the many people around me right up here in the booth right now.
Mike, what ingredient I think I can bring to this equation? My unbridled and often irrational enthusiasm. So I'm going to bring the fire. Let's bring the fire to that equation, because you can't have s'mores without a little heat.
Okay.
I will share, we talked a little bit about Tony Reyes just behind the scenes. And I was fortunate enough to bowl juniors with Tony Reyes. And I'll just share a little story that kind of tells you, the kind of person Tony Reyes was, and just kind of camaraderie of bowling juniors. Tony Reyes, he grew up in Northern California. I was from Southern California. Those of you who know that area, there used to be a big rivalry between the North and the South. And so, we would have contingents from the South go up and bowl against the North and vice versa. And Tony was a good bowler, but just like everybody, you have to, work your way up the ranks. And, there was a time when, he wasn't the best, and he got there. He eventually, became one of the top juniors in the state. And so I ran into Tony at a PBA event after I had been working for the PBA for a while. He had, at that time, had won on tour, bowled 300 on TV, and had achieved a pretty high level of success. And he told me that night, he said, the moment I knew I was a great bowler was when I beat you for this. It was a big tournament that we had on the West Coast. And I'll tell you, it just meant so much to me for him to say that, because I took a lot of pride in my bowling career, and I didn't go on to, have success, at the highest level like some of my friends did. And he knew that was a regret for me. And he just he was just very generous, and I don't know if he meant it or not, but he told me that, and it made me feel really good about myself. And that is the kind of person Tony Reyes was, and that's why everybody says so many great things about Tony Reyes. But it also was forged in the camaraderie of these events, and we were rivals when we bowled on the lanes, but we had tremendous respect for each other. And after we were done bowling, we were great friends. And, it carried through all the way until we were adults, 20 years later. And, if he were still alive, it would be carrying through to today. So it's just a very special thing to be able to bring these people together, these kids and their families, and create an incredible community that's going to last a lifetime.
Yes, sir. There will be many competitors that will go on to get married, and their fellow competitors will be in their weddings. They might even start businesses together.
Yes.
You might even meet your
future wife.
Yes, absolutely.
I actually met my wife at a bowling tournament, but she's not a bowler. She came and watched me bowl. I was friends with her sister. She came and watched me bowl a PBA regional event in Concord, California. It was a doubles tournament. And I bowled a 299 the last game of qualifying. And she had no idea what that meant, but she knew there were a lot of people clapping for me. And I think it helped me.
Yeah, so if you bowl 199 that game, would your life be completely different?
I'd be single. Because I know there's another woman out there that would have married me. So, yeah, bowling.
Your wife is an incredible woman. We can say that. Yeah, my wife did not realize how the bowling community really worked, because she wasn't involved in bowling anyway either, and I don't think it really sunk into her how involved we were in bowling until she came over one day and Kirk was amending some rules for the PBA tour, and she asked, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm just amending some rules," and she's like, "For what?" And he was like, "Professional bowling."
Yeah. I'm a big deal.
NBD.
I'm kind of a big deal. He is in the Hall of Fame now, so congratulations. Officially, I don't think I've congratulated him publicly on the air, but you and your mom both in the PBA Hall of Fame, and that's incredibly well deserved and very cool.
It was an honor to be around Dad when he got the call from Tom Clark. We were out together, and he got the call, and he actually called Mom first, as he should have. And I think Dad was more pleased and more emotional about Mom getting it than for himself. And I'm so glad that I'm very thankful to the PBA for not only recognizing his work, but of course the thankless work Mom put in over 30 years behind the scenes, working tirelessly to help keep that tour going. And so congratulations to them too. It is quite an honor. Oh, JT, Nick's bringing up some Nick Hoagland bringing up some stories about you in the chat. Talking about the last time you and him bowl a regional.
Oh yes,
Solani.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, Nick and I bowled a regional together. Nick did he developed the lane patterns for the PBA tour, and was the assistant tournament director out on the PBA tour. Worked for your dad.
Yeah.
And during one of the off times, we bowled a regional together, and both made the finals. Nick was one of the leaders after the first round and stayed up near the lead. I didn't bowl very well the first block, and I had a really big second block to make finals. And we got a little phone call from Steve Miller that night.
Oh,
yeah, saying, "What are you guys doing? Do you guys want to?" He calls it a career-limiting move.
That is the most Steve Miller thing I have ever heard.
And he wanted to see us in the office on Monday. And so we both I don't know if we tanked it on Sunday, but
Your head wasn't in the game.
I bowled 300 on Sunday, but I made sure I was very safely out of the running for a stepladder final spot before I did it. And then he brought us into his office on Monday, and that was the last time we bowled regionals.
Nick Hoagland says #true.
He did not tell us we couldn't bowl regionals anymore. He just made it very clear that if we did, it would not be good for us.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
He's quite a man. Quite a man. Steve was the kind of guy when he walked into a building, you felt his presence. He was an indomitable force, to say the least. Did a lot of great things for the BB, and had big visions. And I really appreciated the work he did while he was in charge.
Yeah, I learned a lot from Steve working for him, and he was fun to work for. He was a very charismatic guy, and again, I learned a lot. It was an exciting time to be part of professional bowling.
One thing that Dad always gives him credit for, Kirk always says, one thing Steve Miller taught me how to do: spend a lot of money on wine.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. All right, well, coming to the end of game number 1, into game number 2 now. Just 3 more games left of qualifying here at the 2021 Junior Gold Championships. Hope you all are enjoying the coverage. We've got a long way left to go, though, in this tournament. We are not close to being done by a long shot. We've got advancers rounds tomorrow morning starting at 7:30 a.m. Then we've got final advancers rounds coming up in the afternoon. The U12 division actually will go into their match play tomorrow, and the finalists for the stepladder will be determined tomorrow for those U12s. And Mike Flanagan will have all the coverage for you over at Strikeforce for that. And so 7:30 a.m. tomorrow, we've got the advancers rounds for the U15 and U18 divisions at Expo and Western, and the final advancers round. There's only one advancers round in the U12 division, so that is going to happen over at Strikeforce at 7:30 a.m. Then we've got the final advancers round for the U15 and U18 at 1:30, and match play gets underway for the U12 division at 2:30 p.m. And they will bowl those match play rounds up until about 6:30, maybe 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and then we'll have our 3 finalists for the boys and for the girls in the U12 divisions. Then we'll have a couple more rounds of match play. The round 1 and round 2 of match play for the U15 and U18 division. It's just so much going on, Curtis.
Oh, it's the logistics to absolutely get all of this bowling in, and all these bowlers and the cuts and the centers. It's quite an operation. A lot of cogs turning at once, and it can kind of spin your head around.
Yeah. So we will have bowling basically all day tomorrow from 7:30 a.m. until about 10 o'clock at night. And then we get started bright and early on Saturday. We will continue the match play for the U15 and the U18 divisions at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And those finalists will be determined sometime around 12:30 noon Eastern. But before that is even determined, at 10 a.m. Eastern, we'll have the U12 boys and girls stepladder finals. And then at 2 p.m., the U15s will go. And then at 6 p.m., the U18 division. Carolyn Doran Ballard and Mike Flanagan will be on the call for all of those stepladder finals. You're not going to want to miss them.
No, I'm not going to miss.
If you would have told me when I was a youth bowler, watching PBA on Saturdays and watching PWBA, I believe it was Tuesday nights, wasn't it? It fluctuated, but I remember Tuesday nights in particular.
Yeah. That's correct.
Watching Carolyn knock down the 4, 5, 7 as the last 3 to tumble. That's why Aaron Smith has modeled his game so much after Carolyn Doran Ballard, but she made a lot of money doing that. Bowler of the decade. And if you'd have told me then that I'd had the opportunity to call the finals of all 4 divisions of an event that I bowled the very first year, I get to sit alongside Carolyn Doran Ballard, and that you guys would give me the opportunity to be able to do that, I told you were crazy. I would have also told you were crazy if when I was that age you said to me, did you know that in 25 years you're going to be able to go into a bowling center and hook a wire up to a computer and you're going to be able to broadcast on a weekend or for a week or even for a month, for some of us on this broadcast have done before, and you're going to be able to put it all out on the internet for people to watch and connect to, and it's going to be all bowling all the time, not just an hour and a half or 2 hours on a Saturday or a Wednesday night, and there's going to be so much of that out there that you couldn't even watch it all. I would have also told you were crazy. But here we are.
Yeah.
Right, guys? Here we are, and that's what we have. There's a lot to celebrate.
Yeah, you know, if somebody would have told me that in 25 years I would be doing a Bowl TV broadcast with the Mike Flanagan, I would have said, who's Mike Flanagan?
That was very
Who the hell is John F. Kennedy?
There's a little heat for your graham crackers right there, Mike Flanagan.
Thank you very much. I'm still waiting for the rest of our team to come in with the marshmallows and the chocolate, but I guess they didn't get the memo on that one. I was really setting it up well.
I know you teed it up. You set it up. It was a nice slow one right down the middle.
Oh yeah.
I took a nice swing. It looks like everybody else they stepped away from the batter's box.
Yeah, you're no longer last on my list of people that I like. Now you're second to last.
Oh, hey, you know what? Moving up is still moving up.
George Jefferson said it the best.
Oh. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
All right, we've moved over to Western Bowl, and we are on the 43 through 46 channel now, and particularly looking to watch Edgar Burgos, who is a former U12 champion of this event. And he was in very good position starting off today. Edgar was in 10th at plus 206 starting off the day. So he had a big day on Wednesday. Shot games of 224, 247, 218, and 269 for a big 958 set.
It's got to feel good being in that kind of place.
Yeah. Although, you know, I mean, I think there still is a little bit of pressure to try to stay above that top 16 number. You know, 1,166 kids. Not easy to make the top 16. I mean, that's a pretty small number. Pretty small number of people that make that cut. So, you know, I'm sure Edgar wants to try to stay as close to that number as he can, not do anything silly tonight. And looks like he got off to a good start with 225 his first game. I still remember his match against Anthony Mastriani. A couple years back, and I remember the jubilation of him and his family when he won the title. And now he's all grown up, almost. It's like it's just amazing how quickly they grow up. I've got a few myself. Got a few two boys that are going to college next year.
So, talking about growing up, my young one knows that I go to bowling tournaments. And she has now asked me when I get back to take her bowling. I'm going to have a historic moment the day I get back. I'm going to take my little girl bowling for the first time she can actually remember. I'm pretty excited. You got a lot of young kids out here. Started bowling when they were 3, 4 years old. We have one that Vincenzo over here on lanes 11 and 12. He wants to be the youngest bowler to bowl 300. He's 8 years old right now. And I think that's 9.5 or something for the youngest.
Yeah.
He's gotten close twice. He's missed it by one or two frames 2 times. But that is his life ambition. And he throws it really, really well. If you want to, if you're watching the live stream, you want to hop on over to All Star Channel 1 and check out Vincenzo Piccolo. I'm probably butchering that name right there. Sorry if I'm doing that. I think Salvatore is in the chat right now, and I think it's a relative. If the last names are the same, but yeah, go out and check him out. He throws it real smooth, yeah. But you hear stories like that all the time. You know, he's been bowling for. You know, he's only 7 years old. He's already been bowling for 4 years. So you catch the bug early.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, he's setting goals for himself early as well.
Absolutely. You know who's actually his swing looks so much like? Open hand at the top of the swing, comes in with that bent elbow through it, and Beto Monicelli.
Wow. Yeah. You don't see a lot of folks throwing it like Emleto.
Why?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's that easy to do.
No, it probably not. Well, I remember when Emleto came out on tour for the first time, people were like, his shoulder, he'll never last. His shoulder will be done. How's that working?
Yeah, he's Still winning titles on the PBA 50 tour.
And I mean, his backswing may be just a touch lower, but I mean, Emleto doesn't look much different than he did back in 1988.
No, he's in incredible shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing about his swing is that it looks awkward, but it's completely loose at the top.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, he's just in a. It's just that position that he's in when he drives into the power step. It's almost like he's weightless.
It just floats through the bottom of the swing.
Right. And then he just drives through and you know that everything gets in perfect position. And he just unloads, and he still has so much power. I mean, he's still able to compete on the young guys tour.
Absolutely, he won the Japan Cup just a few years back.
Yeah,
you know, and it's funny. You look at him, and he was one of those players that really he opened up his shoulders a lot, even when a time where you weren't really, you know, you stayed really square at the line. You stayed square through your shot. And Lotto really kind of, you could see he was generating that power, and he was swiveling his hips and really loading up to get through that backswing. And I mean, he's one of those, you know, you point to guys like Mark Roth, and I really feel like Lotto really kind of changed the game a lot when he came out, and he was doing something that pretty much nobody else was doing.
Well, let's see if Edgar can bounce back after that miscue in the third. A little frustrated with flat 10, and then didn't make a very good attempt at the spare. There's a little Aaron Smith on 44, the old 4-5.
Yep, there it is, the old Aaron Smith. Aaron was telling me, since he's automatic at this, spare he leaves it so much, he told me that he likes to just move his feet 3 to the right. It's an automatic pickup.
Oh, nice. Jacob Johnson going with the hard and straight.
Yeah, Aaron just goes a strike ball.
Splitting the uprights. I'm guessing Jacob shoots it a little less frequently than Aaron Smith does.
Yeah.
Good shot there from Edgar, and it's some encouragement from the folks behind for a double. He's rocking the urethane from the gutter.
Keep on rocking with the urethane.
Yep, Edgar definitely has added a few inches, and now tall and lanky. was just a little tight when he won that U12 title a few years back, but still had the big rev rate. He certainly maxes out the power. Big backswing, gets the ball in a nice position, and wanted that one. Solid 9. Wow, do you see that one come off the spot there? On lane 41.
Looked really good.
Man. I'm sorry, that was lane 43.
Yeah.
Alec Offerman. Mike, I know you've worked at Junior Gold in the past in other capacities, but I'm not sure you've ever worked it like you have this past 2 weeks. What's been your impression of just the scope of the event and everything that goes on?
Yeah, well, I think it was 3 years ago was the first year that I returned to Junior Gold since 1998. Now, granted, I had talked to people about Junior Gold, and I had watched some coverage online, obviously. And you hear all the social media buzz over the years as the tournament grew. A lot of people like to just talk about anything that's negative. Oh, I was caught in this bowling center once because something happened, or you hear there wasn't enough room, or spectator passes, or just all the stuff that happened over the years as the tournament grew into this massive event that it is now. And you don't really know what it is until you get here. You think you know what to expect, but then you don't. It's kind of like bowling on television, right? Take a guy like A.J. Johnson, who, when he made his first PBA telecast, he kind of knew going in what it was and how it worked. But it's the fastest game you ever bowl in your life, and nothing can really prepare you to bowl for a title on the PBA tour, right? So when you come to the event to work the event, or even to spectate or whatever capacity it is, when you get here, you got this certain inclination of what it is. But then it's kind of like bowling on television. It's not, there's a lot of things that surprise you. So I think for me is a lot of people like to get wrapped up, and it's not really answering your question yet, JT, but I'm just kind of going off on a tangent.
Don't worry, we have time.
Thank you. I think a lot of people like to get caught up in like one small thing that does not encompass, the tournament, such as, I wish there was an extra couple feet of space on the concourse so we could walk, right? Something like that. Or, boy, I sure wish we could have every pair to watch, right? Or just a multitude of things. I wish you had more. I wish you didn't run out of a shirt in your merch booth on day 3 because I really wanted to get that shirt and just forgot to get it. There's a lot of little things like that happen. But if you sit back and you look at an aerial view of what this is, bowling gets compared to other sports all the time about how bowling doesn't have as many sponsors as other sports, doesn't get as much media coverage, or all these different sorts of things here. Well, what we have here with Junior Gold is you have a large youth event that continues to grow. That's a celebration of our sport and gives young athletes an opportunity to feel special, to develop their game, hone their skills, develop interpersonal skills, help these athletes mature through wearing a uniform, through setting rules, through competing. There's a lot of structure built into this event that helps with personal self-development. And I didn't really see that sitting there from home watching it on Bowl TV or just hearing from people what they may say about Junior Gold, good, bad, or indifferent. I think there's a lot of, this event is great, but this event is so great, and it's a great event, but let me tell you about the 3 things I don't like about it. 5 balls, that's crazy, right? And really, when you look at it again, back to the aerial view, this is one of the greatest things that have been built since I started bowling. I consider the biggest things that have been big for bowling is collegiate bowling in the last 20 years, Junior Gold in the last 20 years. And I think Junior Gold has laid a pathway for some manufacturers to step up and support youth bowling or start their own or do their own thing. But it's also because of the way you had to qualify for Junior Gold for so many years is by winning a qualifier. It's created action in the field to have junior directors or center managers run more youth events because the kids asked for it. Hey, I didn't want to qualify for Junior Gold. Can you run a qualifier? Can you get a spot? Can we bowl for it? So there's a lot of just things that this event has done that has a big trickle-down effect that I don't think a lot of people think about. Now, if you just take it from my perspective and what I think about it, is it's larger than any other tournament in bowling. I compare this, when the military championships happen out in Vegas, that's a really spectacular event to be around. And I've been around that one where you've got hundreds of people coming in to bowl, and they're all military veterans or currently in representing our country, and they're all out there bowling and having a great time, but also competing, right? So you look at an event like this, it's the same sort of deal and atmosphere. But it does more. It's larger than bowling. It's more of a. I mean, you take a guy like Pete Burgos, okay? Petey Burgos. We all know who he is now. I remember Petey Burgos when he was coming up. He had an injury to where he couldn't play any contact sports. If he could be killed. So he took up bowling, and he loves bowling, and it gave him an opportunity to excel at something. And if it wasn't bowling, I don't know what else he'd be doing, but it creates a platform for kids. And you don't have to be 7 foot tall and bench press 450 pounds. But at the same time, you can be 7 feet tall and bench press 450 pounds, and it accepts everybody. So to kind of wrap this up, Junior Gold for me is more about the people, the self-development, more so than the athleticism and the event itself. That's important, and it's the test. I mean, why do we have 8 patterns? Why has everything been so thought out and so planned? Because it is a top-notch event that pretty much dots every I and crosses every T. And when it's put to that standard, every once in a while, when the you-know-what hits the fan, of course, here come the keyboard gangsters. But I try not to focus on that part of it. But it's a huge undertaking. It takes a lot of people to make it happen, including volunteers, staff, bowling centers. I mean, the manager of this bowling center, Robert, goes by Rob. He's got his camper parked outside, and he's staying here for the week so that if anything's needed, they can just knock on his camper door. And he's been behind the counter every game. He's there right now. I'm staring right at him. He watches every game to make sure everything's taken care of. So there's a lot of people that care about this thing being successful, and everybody wants to make sure they do their part. You know, so that's kind of my long answer to what I think about Junior Gold. And I guess the final thing I would say, which is kind of a political move here, but it's true, is when you watch our stream and you look out there and you see a bunch of logos, I'm staring at them in here, and I won't name them all, so don't hold it against me if anybody's listening from a company. But I see Kegel, I Am Bowling, I see Storm, Rotogrip Global, Brunswick, Family of Brands, DV8, Hammer, Ebonite, Rotogrip, Columbia 300. They're not just banners out there. CDE Software. They're just not banners out there. They're supporters of this event, and without the sponsors, entry fees would be higher, or the event wouldn't even happen. So it takes a lot to pull this thing off in a professional way, and the USBC has done that and continues to do that and continues to grow it.
All right, well, that's going to do it for game number 2. Edgar Burgos. Let Mike come up for air. Edgar shoots 202. Obviously, he showed a little frustration there. I mean, he's got a great ball reaction right now. I think he's trying to. He feels like this is a pattern he can really get some pins on and give himself that cushion we had talked about on that top 16 number. So a little frustration there with just the 202, but we'll have to see how he finishes off the block. But we'll bounce over to another one of our featured centers. Let's head over to, well, it looks like I don't have anything here. What game are you in, Mike?
We are in game number. We're just finishing game 2, going into game 3. And I actually have standings after game number 1. Caitlin Ennis, bowl 226. Shelby Davis, 211. Tara Oberlin and Alexis Mulholland, both bowl 210. 203 for Anna Callan. Brooke Salzman, 201. A pair of bowlers, bowl 200. That was Aubrey Weinberg and Malaya Chavez. Those are your 200 games over here after game number 1. We're completing game number 2. We'll be going into game number 3 here shortly.
Let's head over to Aaron Smith's center. Aaron Smith always seems to have something going on at his center.
He
So
does.
there must be something good happening over there. So let's go check out Expo Bowl. There we go. Aaron Smith said we had another Greek church picked up over at Expo. Boy, I'll tell you, Greek church and Big Four just become easy spares these days.
4 10s, 6, 7 10s.
Was that clip unbelievable, Mike, or not?
It's amazing.
I mean, there Curtis and I are watching Emmett Larson bowl, and he makes a 410, and that was incredible. I mean, I said it was incredible on the live stream. And then a couple games later, because that could just be a fluke. You just maybe get lucky and make the 410, right? Well, he came close. He actually made the 210 while we were watching, so that's not an easy spare. And so a couple games later, we're watching, and he makes the 6-7-10.
Yep.
And that's actually for him, I think, a harder spare because he's 7 years old, first of all, and he can't. It's hard for a 7-year-old to throw it that hard, especially with two hands, throwing the two-handed style. And he makes it, and his reactions were priceless. That might have been the best part of the clip.
Yeah, the reactions here is what gets you going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the clip we put out on Instagram of Taylor Morgan picking up the 1-2-8-10, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And I'm looking here at the comments. Shannon O'Keefe, awesome. Stephanie Johnson, #totally adorbs. Angelamar Beasley. I'm just looking at all these different comments, and that speaks to what I was talking about earlier about Junior Gold. You've got some of the top athletes in the game here, commenting on these posts of a little girl picking up a washout, right?
I mean, that's so cool. I mean, I can't imagine if when I was a kid, if something I did, I saw Pete Weber make a comment about it. I can't even imagine what I would have done. I might have. I just don't even know what it would have been. It would have meant so much to me.
Yeah, it's just to put a parallel on another sport. Imagine you're outside and you dunk or something in your driveway, and LeBron James comments, right?
Yeah, it would be unreal. So that's cool stuff.
Well, JT, you asked me about my thoughts of Junior Gold coming out and working with the manufacturers and being around all the people and all the there's a lot of positivity here. There really is. You've worked it for a while now, but when it was really kind of getting going and things like that, you were aware of it as well. But you've really taken on a much larger role with this, and I don't know how many years you've been working this event, bud, but it's going on over 5, right?
Yeah, I think this is the fifth one I've done. Yeah.
I mean, you always heard about it too, right? Junior Gold, this big event, whatever, and then.
Yeah, I didn't know much about it. I think the first time I did the event, I was very frustrated because not in a way that it reflected on the event at all. I just didn't understand how big it was, and so my job is to cover the events, right?
Yep.
And so for me, it was very frustrating because I couldn't cover all of it. There was just too much going on. And I felt like the scene in Empire Strikes Back, which, by the way, is the best Star Wars movie ever, Mike. I don't know if you knew that, but there's the scene where Darth Vader and Luke face off against each other, and Darth Vader starts to use the Force in the middle of their duel, and he's taking things off the wall and throwing them at Luke, and he's just throwing one thing after another, and Luke can't keep up with it, right? And that's how I felt like with Junior Gold the first time I did it. There were just so many great stories out there, and I just couldn't get to all the bowling centers to cover all of them. And then I would pick one center to go to, and then really cool stuff would happen at a center across town, and I'd miss it. And so for me, it's always been, how do we cover this event in the best possible way to let people know everywhere that we are and all the great stories that are going on. And, I think we've done, out of all the ones that I've done this year, we've done the best job of being able to cover the widest possible amount of stories. But still, we're barely scratching the surface on, the scope of the event.
Yeah, and, and if we're doing a self-eval, which I know you always do after an event, I think it's called a post-mortem meeting, I think it's called, right?
Yes, we have lots of post-mortem meetings at USBC.
Yeah, and I saw a couple comments earlier in the chat, and they're not wrong. We kind of gravitate towards these bowlers that have resumes, right? It's kind of human nature to do so. We cover Jillian Martin a whole lot on this channel in general, because she is somebody who stands out with
we tried to cover her today.
Yeah, we did, yeah. But I even moved a camera,
you did
for her, right?
Yes. Yeah, you wouldn't have done that for most people,
right? We wouldn't have. And there is a certain point of and that's just kind of how the world of sports works, right? You always cover the biggest story, and unique things that happen, and it is impossible to cover. What are the total numbers of entries? I've got that great graphic that I made, but I didn't actually total them. But let's just say we've got let's call it 1,200, 17. Let's call it 3,000 people. Let's just call them people. 3,000 people are bowling. Let's just imagine we tried to say something about every single person for 30 seconds. That's not going to happen. It's impossible, right? And there's some sort of, everybody's a human being. Everybody's special in some sort. We're all lucky to be alive, right? And everybody's got stories. And I've watched so many people bowl today. There could be somebody in this event could find a cure for cancer, and one day, and I watched her bowl, and or him bowl. So there's so many stories. We can't cover them all. We do gravitate towards the ones that are, have some resumes for sure. And that's the one disappointing thing for me from a media standpoint, that we can't cover everybody, right? And we do move cameras for Cameron Crows of the world, Wesley Lowe's of the world in the past, Jillian Martins. So that's the one thing I wish we could do a little bit better job of, but it takes a lot of preparation. You'd have to do phone interviews. You'd have to do a lot of statistical breakdowns. And I think we were talking the other day about our television shows that we're putting together here on Bowl TV this year. And you look at the NBA show, TNT NBA with Shaq and Kenny and Charles. And it's a great show, but if you watch it behind the scenes, they have just a person that does nothing but makes memes and look for stuff on the internet, right? To make that show go. And I hope one day there's enough subscribers on Bowl TV and that all the work that's being done in our sport allows for, everything's a business. Let's put it that way. It is a business. But that there's enough income that comes in to be able to justify being able to grow what we do and have more hands on deck. And also, JT, you can speak to this better than I can because you're an employee with the United States Bowling Congress, but USBC is a nonprofit, right? So what happens if more sponsorship dollars rolls into this or more Bowl TV subscribers sign up for Bowl TV? Where does that money go? How does that kind of work?
Yeah, it would just go back to the event. It would just make the event bigger. So yeah, if anything that comes in, it's reinvested in growing the sport. So yeah, I mean that's what people need to understand when they do support the events by subscribing to Bowl TV or by entering the events or by joining a league. What they're really doing is growing the sport. We're going to get a look at Andrew Levron here. He has one of the most flexible two-handed styles I've ever seen. Throws it super fast. Obviously has the big rev rate. But look at that backswing with two hands. I think that's the highest backswing I've ever seen in a two-hander.
Yeah, you almost get afraid of where that ball could possibly lead if it slips off his hand.
I mean, his backswing's higher than mine. And I'm not a two-hander. If I tried to get my left hand around to the top of my regular backswing, I would not be getting out of bed the next day. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point you made, Mike, about just wanting to be able to tell more of the stories, and good storytelling takes time. That you can't just every time you do decide on telling one story, you're basically sacrificing the ability to tell 100 other stories, right?
Yep.
So
yep.
That's why you tend to focus on the notables. But I do feel like we have shown a lot of different bowlers and styles, and we've shown maybe not gone into depth on some of their stories, but the Emmett Larson video and the young man who celebrated the Brooklyn strike the other day. Those are all Eli Ankner. We gave him. I think we gave him a moment that they'll remember for a long time. Just by paying attention to what they did here, and I think that's very cool. James Stroud has a nice game going here on this pair. Looks like he goes by Dylan, according to his jersey.
Something else I'll say about this event as well is, I want to be politically correct about this, but I think I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to blatantly say it. Nerds Bowl, Dorks Bowl. Let's face it, that's been that's what I kind of heard when I was growing up. It's a bit of a nerdy, geeky sort of thing that you do. That's how it was, and still can be thought of, right? It's a stereotype. However, guess what? An event like Junior Gold kinda is cool now, right? There's a lot of youth bowlers proud to post on Instagram their score sheets, pictures with friends, all that kind of stuff. And as the world evolves and social acceptance are out there, you can really feel proud to do whatever it is that you do. And I think Junior Gold has helped take bowling away from some of those stereotypes. I think Junior Gold, what kid wouldn't want to be part of this? How many of these youth bowlers are going to go to school this fall, and they're going to have their Junior Gold backpack, or they're going to have Junior Gold sticker on their notebook or something. And I know when I was in school, people knew as Mike is the bowler. Mike's the bowler. That's our bowling. I don't want to say bowling guy because that's you, JT. But the bowler guy. Hey, Mike, I was watching bowling over the weekend. I was thinking of you, right? And I think every athlete here is known as the bowling boy or girl in their school. And there's probably multiple now. And when they go and they say, oh, I went and bowled Junior Gold, competed against all these people want to know more. Oh, really? Bowling's that big, huh? Yes, number one participation sport in the world. I have more fun at Junior Gold than I do at soccer camp because I got to run wind sprints all the time. Junior Gold, get to compete. And by the way, I can win scholarship money, individual sport. And, I will also put in that category the golfers. The golfers have always kind of been the dorks, too. But golf's really become a cool thing. So I think Junior Gold has helped the social status of younger people.
Well, it's whenever you get 3,500 kids or 4,000 kids, you're going to have a slice of every type of person. You're going to have the cool kids, you're going to have the geeks, the Breakfast Club, basically. Right?
Yeah,
and,
you're right.
And I was actually talking to a producer who's a friend of mine, and was asking about, what is Junior Gold like? Excuse me. And I said it's Cobra Kai with bowling.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good one. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I mean it's you've got Johnny Lawrence's and you've got Daniel LaRusso's and you've got male and female versions of both, and you've got John Kreese's and you've got Mr. Miyagi's, and you've got you got the guy doing the announcement at the tournament. You got the people on the bracket board posting the scores. The volunteers.
You got Tennille Milligan enforcing the rules that was a strike below the belt, no point.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
So it's everything. It's got everything that Cobra Kai has.
Yeah.
It's just bowling, right?
Yeah.
So if you could really tell that story fully, and do it in a Hollywood way, I think it would have appeal. It would transcend, bowling.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's no doubt.
Yeah. The question is, can you get someone interested in doing that for you? And Andrew Leveron with a lot of power. I mean, I don't know much about his game and what his resume, but if I was a coach, I would love to be able to work with him. It's kind of like in basketball, you can't teach jumping ability. And if you got someone that can jump, you can teach them how to box out and how to shoot, how to do all the other things. And Andrew definitely with that flexible of a swing and all the power and the ability to throw it hard. I mean, I grew up bowling with Robert Smith, as a lot of people know, and the way that I was able to compete with him sometimes was by being versatile. I could do a lot of different things and I had a lot of different tricks, but there were certain things that I physically couldn't do that he could do. And it was the speed and the rev rate, and he could just overpower certain conditions. And there were just, tournaments where you just knew you had no chance. And that's what, I think if you're a college coach, you're looking for that raw power that you can't teach, because you can always teach somebody how to gear it down. Bill O'Neill came on the show the other night and talked about, what was it that made him jump to the next level. And interestingly enough, it wasn't trying to learn how to become more powerful. It was, how do I dial down my speed? How do I dial down, the power? And once he learned how to throw it less powerfully, he became a great player. But if you don't have the power in the tank in the first place, I remember one time I asked Robert Smith, hey, how much of your effort do you use on a given shot? When you're just bowling like a normal. Can you want to guess the number or percentage that he told me? It was a depressing number.
How many times?
Well, guess the percentage. I asked Robert, what percentage of your effort are you using on a shot right now? And he was throwing it, 20 miles an hour with like a 550 rev rate, throwing messengers every shot. And I was like, it was one of those moments where you kind of step out of the competition aspect of it and just go, hey, how hard are you really trying here to do what you're doing? And I'll let you guys both kind of guess. I know, Curtis, you've been kind of listening in the wings, but what do you think the percentage was? 1 to 100%.
I'm going with 40%.
Well, you kind of baited the witness here, and you said it was a low number, pretty much. 20%.
Yeah, it's a depressing number. He said 30%.
Oh, wow. Split.
So he was throwing, a speed and a rev rate that I could never attain at 100%. And he was using 30% of his effort to do it.
That reminds me, I was at a county fair, and they had one of those pitching areas where you could throw a baseball. And, you had people out there giving it a try. So I was like, I'm going to see how fast I can throw a baseball now. And I was giving it absolutely everything. I was getting my legs, my hips, my back, my shoulders, my hair follicles into throwing this ball. And I was about 61 miles an hour, which I thought was pretty good. And then you realize there's a guy who can throw 101 miles an hour, almost double you up.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel small. So, I mean, I can't even imagine throw. And, you know, Robert's been very candid about his power through the years. And, you know, he's even gone so much to say that his speed and rev rate became a problem for him in a large degree because there are certain patterns that he couldn't play as effectively because he wasn't able to power down as much as he needed to power down. And he's one of the few players that have ever switched to two-handed, not to get more power, but to try to get less. I remember seeing a Facebook post about that where he was showing some two-handed shots that he threw. And that's what the remarks he made was. And I was blown away by that.
Yeah, he was and is pretty impressive. No, he's been making a little bit of a comeback recently.
Maximum
Nice.
Bob.
Nice to see.
And he's a class act. I always love speaking with Robert.
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, he was just great because he would just kick your butt. But everybody liked him.
Yeah.
It's very rare that somebody can be that good and that ruthless in just destroying everybody, but still everybody loved him. And I remember when I was I bought myself a car when I was 17, and it was, you know, it was kind of like it was the equivalent at the time of Cameron's dad's car in Ferris Bueller's Day Off in terms of how I took care of it. Right? Rub it with a baby diaper and all that stuff. And I would have let Robert borrow my car. That's how much I liked him.
Wow. Robert, he has that, you know, he's another one of those magnetic personalities, you know, very easygoing, almost like a surfer, like a surfer dude, you know. And you guys were talking earlier about, you know, the breakfast club of bowlers, and it's just so true. You know, you have every demographic in between. What character from Karate Kid would you be, JT? Are you a Daniel-san type of character? Sweep the leg, Johnny.
Oh boy, that's a tough question.
That means you're giving it legitimate thought, and that makes me smile.
Yeah, I mean, what was I at a bowling tournament or was I at home?
At a bowling tournament, it's got to be in the context of a bowling tournament.
Yeah. Sadly, I was Cobra Kai at a bowling tournament. I have to admit.
Oh man, you know what? I can see it. That competitive flair just ignites in you, and you can't help it.
I hated everybody equally if they were trying to beat me on the lanes. Sweep the leg. I never cheated. I mean, I never was that kind of a person. I never
crinkled any water bottles.
No. Well, I never wished ill on my opponent. But I always would shake the opponent's hand. I embarrassed myself many times because I was frustrated at myself. I never belittled. I maybe I did. Maybe some folks felt that I bowled against, that I slighted them. But when somebody beat me, I always had respect for them and shook their hand, even though I might have acted like a jerk, during the match. But I feel like now I've changed my ways quite a bit.
I definitely feel like you're a pretty good guy to work for.
Thank you. What about you?
I'm a Danny LaRusso. I'm a LaRusso kind of guy. I'm very competitive. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to win. But when you're the youngest of 3 hyper competitive kids that are very close in age with you, but you're younger and therefore you're always a couple of steps behind, you learn to let things just kind of to slide off your back. And my oldest brother was always a much more naturally gifted bowler than I was. It didn't matter how many hours of practice I put in. He could come back and not have bowled for 2 years and just slaughter me on the lanes. Just naturally gifted. If he would have taken it seriously and not went to the Naval Academy, he could have honestly, he could have done something with it. But so that kind of tempered me, I guess, a little bit. Where I was just, I was there to bowl. I was there to have a good time. In any kind of framing or context that you can put.
Tell you, we got some good action in front of us here. Callum Meredith, he was plus 13 going into today, and making a nice run here tonight. He's 56 over for his first 2, and can go off the sheet here in the 9th and 10th for 238.
No, that's what you need to do.
Nice shot there.
Yeah.
Take some.
Okay. Those are some stylish pants.
Oh yeah, Mike was talking about nerds, and Callum's definitely not a nerd, man. He's got the hair going. He's got the cool jersey. He's got the tan. He's from Hawaii.
Too cool for school, man.
Yeah. And he throws it cool too.
Yeah. Oh, man. JT.
Mike Flanagan just got a lot younger.
And more attractive. and hair. What the heck's going on? Apparently, I wonder if he became a better bowler, too.
Much better. Oh, that's not Mike Flanagan. That's Spencer Robarge.
Spencer.
How are you?
We're doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Doing good. Good. I assume you were watching Friends?
Yeah, we're over here at Strike Force watching a couple of friends that are trying to make it into the first advancers.
Ooh.
And listening to the wonderful storms outside. So
we heard that there's some storms going on over there. Hope you guys are all okay. You created a little bit of a storm over here today earlier. We were a little worried about you going into today, but not anymore. Nice bowling today.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt like I bowled pretty good yesterday, and I had my worst scoring block. So it was good to finally connect for a full block today and actually have some pins fall the right way. So,
yeah, we kind of, obviously it's tough at junior gold when you're stuck in one center. You kind of assume that every center is just like the one you're watching, which obviously it isn't. But what were your impressions of all the different patterns you saw this week? Over here, it looked like everything was playing pretty similar and you could play out. But what did you see bouncing around across all the different centers?
Well, at Expo, they seem to play really tight compared to what we practiced on. And I tried to make the appropriate moves. My spare game wasn't quite what I wanted it to be over there, so I definitely left some pins out there. I still went 11 over and 10 over for my 2 blocks, which, at a normal scoring junior gold, that's pretty good. But
Yeah.
when people are averaging 240 and making it look wide open, plus 10 and plus 11 ain't going to cut it. And over at Western on the A side, like I said, I felt like I physically bowled really, really well. But I just could not get the pins to cooperate. I left a lot of corner pins, watched a lot of people throw strikes, and watched some people that I thought were going to crush it over there be about in the same boat that I was.
Yeah. Now, did you come out today kind of thinking I need a big number to kind of get myself closer to where I need to be to make the top 16, or did you just kind of let it come to you today?
I did what usually works for me. My stuff that doesn't even involve being in the bowling center. And I got to the center very early, like I like to do, and just stayed in the zone as much as I could. Through practice and getting onto the lanes for score. And it was definitely good to see. I started with the first 3 the first game, which doesn't sound like a whole lot of anything, but that's the most that I started the first game of a block with. And once I started to get my feet under me, it was things kind of started to fall into place.
Gotcha. Now, you've obviously had a nice little run since the last junior gold, making the Masters finals, bowled well at the U.S. Open. How did you feel coming into this week? I mean, when you make a Masters TV show, you must come into this tournament and think, man, I'm going to win this tournament without even, barely trying. How do you feel going into this tournament?
The one thing that I've learned about Junior Gold is that you never know what's going to happen at Junior Gold. The Masters show definitely helped me out, not only with my bowling and with my confidence, but, with a lot of stuff off the lanes as well. And coming into this week, I worked harder than I've ever worked before in my practicing. I've been trying everything I could during tournaments to, stay ahead of people, win those tournaments, and try to bank as much scholarship money as I can. And, coming into it, I had hopes for where I would get, but I was pretty open with where I was going to be. And after the first 3 days, I hadn't given up, but I had accepted, if Junior Gold doesn't work out the way that I want it to, I've made match play the last 6 years in a row. Nobody's ever done that I know of. I made the show at the Masters. I bowled really well at the U.S. Open. If my math is right, I've made over $40,000 of scholarship money just this year. And if none of that comes from Junior Gold and it all comes from, the Masters, PBA Junior, SYCs, and other stuff like that, so be it. So,
yeah, no, it's amazing. I'm always amazed at people at your level and, Jillian, and we take it for granted that you're going to bowl well every week, but it's just not given to you. You have to come out and you have to perform, right?
Right. I mean, we're human just as much as the others. I bowl bad. I might not bowl bad as much. I might be able to grind in most cases, but I do bowl bad every now and again. And it's just like anybody else bowling bad. When it happens, and anybody that, can see it is going to know. And, sometimes that can get a little interesting because people do have expectations of me, to bowl well a lot of the time. I've heard them. I've passed them by, walking from pair to pair, and I've heard people talking. So it's just, you got to put that, leave that outside of the bowling center and do what you can once you get inside.
So Spence, obviously things have changed for you from last year to this year, obviously. How does it feel when you walk in a bowling center? Aaron Smith was telling us a little bit of a story, how you were stopped and asked for autographs. How does that, when you walk in a bowling center, people know who you are, they see you. How's that change felt for you?
It's been really awesome. It's definitely a lot different. I never expected to get to that position, let alone at the age of 18. I was joking with my mom and a couple of friends. I went to registration, and I think I signed 15 bowling pins and about 5 or 10 of these the badges, and then took probably 20 or 30 pictures, and that's continued on all through the week. I think I've taken pictures every day. I think I've signed a couple of autographs every day. I mean, it's unbelievable. So the publicity that I've gained from, not only the PBA Junior Show but the Masters as well it's really been helpful to me.
So, as an athlete, you're always looking at staying hyper focused and really kind of dialing things in. Obviously, notoriety comes as a distraction. How have you been able to put the blinders on and say, hey, you know what? All this notoriety is good. People asking for my autograph is cool, pictures or whatever. How do you block that all out and focus what you're doing on the lane?
The way that I see it, at the end of the day, we're still bowling against 10 pins, and I might have a little bit of real estate in an opponent's mind, but they're still going to be a good enough bowler to beat me on any day. So I still have to do what I can to be able to beat whoever it is that's trying to beat me. And you might sign an autograph or two before a block that you really need to bowl good, but at the end of the day, you just got to go in and do what you got to do.
Spencer, I turned adult rather early. I kind of got bored with it, and we didn't have things like this when I was growing up. I'm a few years older than you, but how do you motivate yourself in a tournament like this after what you've done at the Masters, and you've got college coming up, and you're going to be one of the top collegiate players, we presume. How do you motivate yourself for a tournament like this?
Well, it's like I said earlier, I've made match play 6 years in a row. I've only won the tournament once. I don't bowl tournaments to finish second. If I start bowling tournaments to finish second, I need to quit bowling. And I don't do that. Anytime that I go to a tournament, I want to win. And it doesn't matter if I'm bowling against, people of very high caliber like at Junior Gold, or if I'm just bowling, a little house shot tournament back home. I mean, I'm about as competitive as they come, and I want to win. And it doesn't matter what I've got to do to prep myself for when I get there, but I'm going to do what I can to win that tournament. And if I don't win it, I'm going to do everything I can to make whoever did win it earn it.
Yeah, one thing I've also noticed too is you're one of the elder statesmen now here at Junior Gold, and you said you signed a bunch of autographs, but I'm sure there's a lot of younger kids that have come up to you for advice and things like that. What are some of the pieces of advice that you've shared with some of those kids that want to be like you?
Picking your spares up is definitely a big one. Another one that I've kind of been going towards more recently is do what you've got to do. A lot of kids, especially at Junior Gold, everybody's got friends, and sometimes we've got friends that aren't in the same division as us, and we can get into the trap of, okay, I've got to go bowl at 7 a.m. My friend bowls at 4 o'clock. Okay, so I'm going to go bowl, I'm going to go eat, and I'm going to go over there and watch. And you can get into the trap of not focusing on what you need to focus on to be able to bowl the tournament. Every round for me before my squad, with the exception of today, which was 7 a.m., I went in and watched the squad previous to me and kind of saw what was going on with them. I had a couple of players that I was watching, and then from there I would go back, do whatever I felt like I needed to do to prep myself for the squad that day, and then just went from there. And, I'm not the kind of person that goes out and goes into these big groups and spends time, all throughout Junior Gold. I'm one of those people that I bowl. If I'm going to go eat, I go eat, and I go back to the room, because it's, my job is to try to win this tournament. And if I want to have, time with friends, that can be done at home or at a later date. But, I'm all about business right now.
So when you obviously Junior Gold, a very important tournament, and has grown so much over the years.
Right.
it really tries to help focus people into, maybe taking that collegiate step or the pro step eventually. But it comes with a really interesting caveat that you can only check in 5 bowling balls, which I am one to say that too many choices can be detrimental. So how do you approach your arsenal build out, and what kind of advice would you give to maybe prospective bowlers coming in here for the first time and they're looking at their 10 or 15 bowling balls that they have to choose from? What should they be looking at?
I definitely think that having one of your favorite bowling balls is key. Being two-handed and being on the left side, 99% of those players are going to go with a urethane ball, just with the way the patterns are these days. You've got to have something for a longer pattern. You've got to have something for a shorter pattern. You definitely got to have that plastic ball or that spare ball, whatever it is. And then just something that kind of is an all-around, all-purpose bowling ball. So, for me, favorite ball, got into it. It was a urethane ball. I had my big hooking bowling ball, which if you look at the bowling ball in the specific line, it's a high performance ball, but it's not the highest performance ball because, the lanes are not really requiring that at this point in time. Something all purpose that's not urethane, and then just having another option that I can feel comfortable with. For anybody that's coming into it for their first time, definitely have your favorite ball and definitely have your spare ball. I've heard too many people say that they're going to get rid of their spare ball and have another strike ball. You don't throw a whole lot of strikes at this tournament. This is a spare shooting competition, and if you don't have the ball that's going to make you successful out there for spares, you're going to have some troubles along the road.
That's great advice. Great advice. When I used to bowl these events, I would have a heck of a time sleeping, especially as the tournament got later and later, and you had a chance to win, and you just wanted to get out there and compete the next morning. What do you do at night to fall asleep and get your rest for the next day?
Well, I'm one of those that kind of runs off of not sleeping very much. I've gotten really good at not sleeping.
Did you sleep at all before the Masters show?
I did, actually.
Okay.
I slept pretty good. I think I got about 6 hours, and for me, that's a lot.
It sounds like you could work for Bowl TV.
You guys are always going, so. But, I actually do things pretty similar to how I do them at home. I don't sleep a whole lot at home, and I try to carry that through over here because I feel like I'm at my best when I'm a little bit tired because it makes me focus more. If you're a little bit nervous about the next day, the way I see it, it's going to come at some point, and they're not going to hold the tournament up because you're worried that you're not going to throw a good shot. You're still going to have to get up on the approach and throw the ball. So you can do whatever you need to previous to that to try to be ready, but at the end of the day, when it's your turn, you still got to get up there and you still got to throw that ball.
Yeah. Who are you watching right now?
So right now at Strike Force, watching a couple of friends. I got to try to find where they went. So Caitlin Ennis over here on 19 and 20, and then a friend of mine, I think towards the end of the bowling center, her name's Grace Ogle. She was right on the bubble of U18 girls trying to get in, and I believe she's been bowling pretty good, but I'm not exactly sure. So we'll have to see once all the shots are thrown and they turn the lights out. So
yeah, you guys must be getting pretty close to being at the end there, huh?
Yeah, it's the fourth game. There's some pairs that are finishing up. There's some other pairs that just started. It's kind of staggered. There's some pairs of fives and pairs of fours. So it's
yeah. Well, it's been really cool watching you bowl, these last few months, and obviously for these last few years. We wish you the best of luck tomorrow in the rest of the tournament as well.
Thank you.
And have fun watching your friends, and I hope they all get to make it as well.
Yeah, that's the hope. But thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for everything that you do for bowling. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Spencer. We appreciate it. Yep.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Yep.
Pleasure to talk with you, my friend.
Thank you.
He's an
Good
impressive,
stuff.
he's
Yeah.
a young man.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I mean-
I always enjoy talking to Spencer. He's basically like a pro, right? Already.
Absolutely. His mentality.
Yeah.
Just the way he answers things and his mental approach, you can tell that he's already dialed in that particular way.
Yeah. But he still wears the cool clothes.
Oh yeah, he's cool. He's cooler than we ever will be, JT. I mean,
Exactly.
you've resided to the fact that at one point in time there may not be a definable point in your life that you transition from being cool to not. And I don't know when I made that transition, but I think it was probably when I was 11 or 12, maybe. Well, JT, guess what?
You all done over at your place?
The action hath wrapped on my side.
Well, yeah, and we need those cameras for tomorrow.
We do. So saith the bowling gods, we need the cameras. So
yes.
I will bid thee adieu, calling it I'll wrap an early night here on Bowl TV's Junior Gold channel. It's bittersweet. Parting is such sweet sorrows, as they will say. But I am going to take one for the team. I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to rip all these cameras down. And we're going to go get extra coverage over there at Expo. I'm going to make sure that happens for you guys. So thanks so much for everything you do, Jace. I think people don't realize how much work you do, and how much effort you put into trying to make as quality of a product as you can with the resources we give it. So thank you, sir. And I'll see you first thing tomorrow.
Yeah, great job today and this whole week and tomorrow in advance. And also happy birthday.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You know, honestly, and this is in all sincereness, it is a great birthday present to see these young athletes just having such a great time. I've had so many wonderful conversations. I'm the type of person that can strike up a conversation with a brick wall. So I will interject myself into any conversation I see fit. I might have gotten that from my mother. And so I've had a lot of really great conversations with parents, with athletes, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, you name it. And they all love this stuff. And I love speaking with them. And when we talked about the 3,000 stories, I want to scream their stories from the rooftops every time I hear one. So thanks for the coverage we do here. I know that we're always looking to step up our game, and I look forward to the continuation of this tournament. And I am geared up, ready for those step ladder finals because I know they're going to be great.
All right, sir. We'll get those cameras taken down and put back up and get some rest. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. And thanks again for all you do.
I appreciate you. Thanks, Chase.
Folks, coming down to the end of our coverage of qualifying at the Junior Gold Championships. I'm Jason Thomas. Curtis von Kruger, his bowling center is wrapped up for the evening, and he's going to be striking some cameras and bringing them over to Expo for our epic day of advancers rounds and the start of our match play finals tomorrow here on Bowl TV. This maybe looks like we've got maybe somebody who's close to the cut here trying to stretch across the finish line.
Well, what I miss? How are things
Well,
with Spencer?
Spencer was fantastic as usual. He's just as much of a professional in interviews as he is out on the lanes. Just a very impressive young man.
Yeah, I prepped him for that interview, by the way. It's about 30 minutes, just letting you know.
You're coaching him in the tournament as well?
Well, I did call him last night and said, "Hey, man, you might want to start bowling a little bit better." So he responded today with 999. He's in trouble though because I told him 1,000 was the goal.
Yes. Well, just leaving a little bit on the table for tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I saw him in here and he's like, "Hey, Mike, how's it going?" I'm like, "What are you doing here?" I always ask these people these direct questions. What are you doing here? Well, I was here to watch my friend bowl. Oh, okay. Well, then that's good. You want to spend 5 minutes in the booth? Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Do. Come on over, have a seat. See how long it takes these guys to notice that you're queued up in the screen.
Well, he says he doesn't sleep much anyway.
Yeah, he's like an insomniac.
Yeah. So
I hear all the noise there, and at night it gets rowdy in these bowling centers.
yeah, I think there are several kids who are bowling their last junior gold and just kind of having a fun little send off at the end.
Yep.
Well, Mike, we're about to wrap up here. What's on tap for tomorrow?
Oh wow, we've got a different day tomorrow. Than it's been Groundhog Day. And tomorrow,
Well, let's just start with what you're going to be covering.
yeah, I'm going to be covering the U12 division, beginning at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to have an advancers round, and the U12 is moving from all-star lanes over here to strike force.
So you've got one advancers round at 7:30, and then they go right into match play, correct?
Yep. Yep. So I'm just confirming my times here on the schedule. Yep, I come on at 7:30. We got U12 boys and girls. And then I'm back at 2:30. And it's 4 games for the U12 division, by the way. 5 games in the other divisions. And then we start the 2-game matches, top 8. Round 1 starts at 2:30. Round 2 will be at 3:30. Round 3 at 4:30. Round 4 at 5:30. And then we'll determine who's going to be our top 3 finalists for the stepladder. That'll be Saturday morning at 10 a.m.
It's like a competition now.
Yeah, it is. Did Curtis finish up already?
He did. His center's all done, and he's tearing down his equipment, and he's going to bring it over to Expo tonight for Aaron Smith's coverage of the U15 and the U18 divisions. Aaron Smith tomorrow morning will have U15 boys and U18 girls over at Expo. Over here at Western, we'll have U15 girls and U18 boys advancers rounds. And then the final advancers rounds, same divisions at each center at 1:30 p.m. And then we'll get into match play starting at 7:30 tomorrow night. U15 and U18 divisions, 2 rounds of match play tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then the survivors of that will move on to our final day on Saturday. We'll see who makes the top 3 in each of the divisions. Mike will have the U12 finalists determined tomorrow, and that stepladder finals will take place at 10 a.m. Saturday morning. And Mike and Carolyn Doran-Ballard will be on the call for that.
Looking very much forward to that. But I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. The U12s be a little different for me. I haven't had a chance to be up close and personal with the U12s. I'm looking forward to that all day tomorrow. Should be some fun there should be some laughs involved, a lot of emotion, skipping around, jumping around in the lanes, picking splits. At least that's what I've seen on social media this week.
Yeah. They're having a lot of fun here, Mike.
Got some of that going on here as well.
That's just not something you see at typical bowling events. Well, Mike, 16 rounds of qualifying down. Only the survivors left. Congratulations to everybody who made the cut and to us. And to all of our community for sticking with us and watching. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. I just watched a young lady throw a strike and bowl 226 and walk off the approach, bawling her eyes out, hugging some of her pair mates, and then going in the back. And she's hugging her father right now, crying her eyes out. Her emotion is incredible right now.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, you see it in college with the seniors, after their team loses that last match at the Nationals. I got to see it with my kids when they graduated and, they performed in their last theater show. And now, we're seeing it here. Some of these kids that are moving on to the adult ranks or to college, and this is their last junior gold. And, it's bittersweet, I'm sure, for a lot of them, because they're going to be moving on into the world of adult bowling and adult life, really. And they'll take with them a lot of special memories of this event.
Just
What
got
else?
a couple of pairs left here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're almost done here for the day in my center. I know a lot of your places are done, completed here, but we're just wrapping up here.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting atmosphere here. Just, people taking cell phone video, crowds cheering on, the remaining players. And it's not like anything I've ever really seen.
Yep, emotional. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. We got another full day of coverage tomorrow, as we mentioned. Mike's going to be determining the U12 finalists, and Aaron Smith and I will be watching the U15 and the U18s get down to the final match play finalists that'll go into Saturday, and then we'll determine our top 3 from there. Mike, any last impressions for the day or thoughts before we sign off?
I enjoyed our last squad here. It's a good one. We had some good topics. Enjoyed Spencer Robars coming by as well, getting him in the booth. What a great day he had. Maybe we'll see him on Saturday. Who knows?
Would not be surprised. He's awfully good, awfully tough competitor, and I'm sure has a lot of confidence after the performance at the Masters, making the TV finals there. And as you mentioned, 6 straight match play appearances. He wants to continue that string and win his second junior gold title here this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, not many people have done that.
Yep. Well, again, want to thank everybody for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage. It's been a lot of fun to get to bring it to you. Like to thank the USBC and the USBC Board of Directors, the BPAA and the BPAA Board of Directors. Would like to also thank Kegel, the official lane maintenance supplier of Junior Gold and the USBC, and also the Brunswick Motive, Rotogrip, and Storm Gold partners, as well as Logo Infusion, who is the official jersey supplier of Junior Gold. Again, want to thank the competitors. It's been a great week so far. Great 2 weeks, really, if you include the U20, which was fantastic. And we're going to have a fantastic finish on Saturday. But you got to tune in tomorrow to see who makes it to that. And that leaves us with our Bowl TV community. We want to thank you guys so much for supporting bowling and supporting Junior Gold and supporting everything we do to bring you guys a future for the sport. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We've enjoyed bringing it to you. I am Jason Thomas, Mike Flanagan to my left, Aaron Smith and Curtis Von Kruger, the birthday boy. Thank you guys for all your work this week, and looking forward to working with you for the next couple of days to conclude this great event once again. But thanks again for watching, everybody. And remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. Good night.